Fantastic Four. I mean, Fantastic Four. Yep, pretty much sums up the movie. Hey, all you nerd geeks and freak. Mike here from the Nerdy Geeky Freaky podcast, coming at you with a review. Pretty late review, and sorry about that. Just came out of the coma from this movie, and that is Fantastic Four. Oh god, this movie's bad. Let's just put it that way. I'm not gonna completely bash it because this movie has been out for about 3 weeks already, and if you watch any reviews online, it's pretty much been bashed to hell. So this isn't gonna be a bashing review. It's gonna be a mini analysis, and I'm gonna go more in depth on it in the full podcast when we shoot next week, hopefully. I'm just gonna talk about the things that I thought worked for the movie, definitely did not work for the movie, and things I thought could have gone a lot better for it. It's gonna be a pretty short video because there's not really much that could have gone better for it. So first things first, what I liked about the movie. Now the movie is directed by Josh Trank, who directed Chronicle. Now I know a lot of people were kind of in between on Chronicle, not me, I liked it. I thought it was a good origin for a villain. Simon Kinberg, the writer, he has just come off of an amazing film in X-Men Days of Future Past, and I thought it was written brilliantly, and he was one of the main writers on that film, and he did an amazing job. So when you see all these things kind of pieced together, you think finally a good Fantastic Four movie. Now whether or not you like the first two, totally your opinion. I liked the first one for what it was, but I was a teenager when that came out, so shows what I knew. And I hated the second one. I thought the second one was just horrible. When I heard that they were going to take this material a little bit more seriously, I thought, okay, this is going to be a good movie. The things that worked were the things that felt like Josh Trank on this movie, which was basically the first hour. If you've been following this movie, if you've heard of all the stories that have come out about studio interference and all that stuff, and it pretty much shows that there was a lot of meddling, like a lot of hands in the cookie jar trying to make a movie they thought would work instead of trusting the vision with the director. That's not saying that studios are all bad and they need to just hire people and then walk away. I mean, Kevin Feige is a good example, the president of Marvel Entertainment. He's the one that's pretty much compiled the Marvel Cinematic Universe as we know it today. And he's a big proponent of collaboration and how you need to hire people you think are going to be a good fit for your film and then step back a little bit and let them work their magic, only interfere when necessary. Like, they want one character to do this, but it doesn't fit our overall scheme, so I'm just going to have them fix this a little bit. What Fox did for this movie was they had no faith in this movie at all. That's not saying that Josh Trank's version of this film was going to be all that much better and they just didn't like it. They let their fear get the best of them. They just overstepped big time. And you can definitely see it in the last 45 minutes of this movie because the first hour is a Josh Trank movie. It is the character development you want to see that you saw in Chronicle. The writing was just impeccable. I mean, there were some issues with how fast they were kind of progressing with certain things, and I can see people criticizing that because it felt more like a montage than a progression of the story, and I understand that. But I just thought the writing was fine for the first hour of this movie. Where it really started to lose it, where you saw the interference come in. After they get their powers, you start thinking this is going to be like a body horror story, or it's going to be the Fantastic Four origin, where like they're struggling with learning to control their abilities. They're learning that their abilities are making them monsters on the outside, and it's their struggle with trying to come to terms with that. Out the window. Fox decides, let's throw a 1 year later card in there, fast forward and show them semi in control of their abilities, and it feels so uneven from what we saw in the first part, where I can't even explain it really, where this movie turned, and it just felt like it was a totally different movie than what it was originally set out to be. And it seemed like it was directed by somebody else, because I do not see a Josh Trank film in this last 45 minutes of this movie. I just thought it was a waste of an amazing cast with Miles Teller, Michael B. Jordan, Kate Mara, and Jamie Bell, and even Toby Kebbell, who is really coming up there as a stand-on-his-own actor. They just botched it. There's no nice way of putting it. Fox dropped the ball with this one, and where I think it went wrong, why Fox decided to interfere so much, is because they had a lot on the line for this movie. This is their third attempt at a Fantastic Four, if you count the Roger Corman, but it's their third studio attempt at the Fantastic Four movie. And the first two weren't well received by critics. They made money, but they weren't well received. They knew they really had a lot lined up on this, so I think in their fear they overstepped their boundary and they did what they thought was right, and it just turned out to be a big mistake. Now, the question is up in the air. Fox should lose the rights to Marvel, go back to Marvel proper, and I definitely see validity in your argument, but in my honest opinion, it's not going to happen. Fox still has X-Men, so they're not going to sell the rights back. They could let them lapse, but I highly doubt it, because this is a grand scheme of things kind of idea where they don't necessarily want to give up the rights to Fantastic Four because they want Fantastic Four in their slate for the future with their X-Men cinematic universe, what they were planning on doing, and I think they still want to move forward with that, but they're going to find a different way to weave it in than this Josh Trank film. It could be another reboot, it could just be throwing the Fantastic Four characters in there in an X-Men movie down the line, and then spinning that off into a Fantastic Four movie, kind of similar to what Justice League is doing, where it's introduced, or Batman v Superman, I should say, introducing the lesser known characters, building up their hype, and then spinning them off into their own solo film. So they could try that attempt, and I don't think that will work either. Where I think Fox could shine with Fantastic Four is on the smaller screen, on television, as a 13 to 20 episode series on either Fox Network with Gotham, or even throwing it on Netflix and really exploring the Fantastic Four as individual characters and giving them each a backstory or a look into their past and what makes them function as characters, kind of similar to what Marvel did with Daredevil, where you really got to see the origin of Matt Murdock and Wilson Fisk. And it would make sense for them to kind of spin this off into a TV series, because I think a TV series would work so much better. And that's the only option I think Fox has left at this point, because if they tried to make another movie, no one's going to go see it. I mean, I went there on the second day that it opened, and there was like 5-6 people in the theater, and this is a comic book movie. Even Ant-Man had more than a packed theater on its opening day. Yeah, this word of mouth just spread like wildfire and got people so dissatisfied with this movie before they even saw it. And if you want to judge for yourself, I say you should see it, just to say you saw it. I mean, it's kind of like The Room, a bad movie you want to see just because it's so bad. But if you want to see a good comic book movie, if you're looking forward to seeing a good movie, and you want to spend your money on a good movie, don't see this movie. That's all I have to say, is don't spend your money on this movie. I wish I could have walked out, but I was with somebody who actually wanted to stay till the end, so thanks for that. All in all, they could have done better. They could have. But what's done is done. You can't go back into the past. You can't change time like Days of Future Past did, even though I'm pretty sure someone at Fox is thinking, how can we use X-Men to fix the Fantastic Four universe? Just don't. If you like this video, hit the like button. Subscribe, do all that junk. Listen to the Nerdy Geeky Freaky podcast. We're on iTunes, Stitcher Radio. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and see you soon.